We have some really chaotic breaking news at this hour. Donald Trump has ordered the Department of Defense to begin preparing for possible war in Nigeria because of anti-Christian bias in Nigeria. He has also declared essentially that Seth Meyers' late night show on NBC might be illegal, is likely illegal because of, quote, anti-Trump bias that Seth Meyers is exhibiting. So another attack on the First Amendment. Meanwhile, ICE is actively wearing horror-themed masks in Los Angeles during raids, and when asked about it, ICE officials merely said, "Happy Halloween," as children are being potentially tear-gassed while they are trick-or-treating. Moreover, ICE is preparing, according to The Intercept, to contract bounty hunters, paying them lots of money and performance bonuses. And there's a lot more, a lot of news to cover this afternoon. I'm out and about, but I want to make sure that you have all the news you need to know about. Make sure to subscribe to support my work. Especially the First Amendment right now is under attack in ways we've never seen before. With Seth Meyers' show, the latest potential casualty. I will not stop fighting, so please consider subscribing to support my work, and I'll see you soon.
A federal judge just permanently blocked Donald Trump's executive order that would have forced voters to prove their citizenship before registering to vote. Judge Colleen Collar-Cotelli ruled that the order was illegal, saying it violated federal law and overstepped presidential authority. Trump's plan would have required every new voter to show a passport or a birth certificate just to register, and even tried to rewrite the National Voter Registration Form to add a new Proof of Citizenship section. Civil rights groups sued immediately, including the League of Women Voters, LULAC, and the DNC, arguing that the order would suppress turnout and disenfranchise lawful voters who don't have passports or birth certificates on hand. The court agreed. Collar-Cotelli said only states, not the president, have the constitutional power to manage elections. Her ruling permanently blocks the citizenship proof rule nationwide. So for now, your right to vote stays intact, because democracy doesn't require a passport.
Donald Trump is a dumbass. I mean, he's an absolute dumb fuck. And that's not news. I talk about it all the time. When Donald Trump was coming back from Asia on Air Force One, reporters asked him about the suspension of the SNAP benefits. Donald Trump said, well, I'm not worried about it because most SNAP recipients are Democrats. Really, Donnie? Is that what you believe? First and foremost, Donald Trump acknowledges he's not a president for everyone, just the redneck, dumbass motherfuckers that voted for him. Bad optics, but not surprising coming out of Donald Trump's mouth. More importantly, his suggestion that mostly Democrats get SNAP benefits. Well, let's think about that. I've seen maps showing the percentages of populations in states that get SNAP. It seems to me the red states have the higher percentages and the blue states have the lower percentages. So clearly, there is a lot of people that voted for Donald Trump that are Republicans, that are conservative, that are Trump-the-fucks, are getting SNAP. Now, my question is this. Does Donald Trump just not know this? Is there nobody around him that's telling him this? Is he not listening, or does he just not know? Or is it that he does know and he's trying to gaslight other dumb motherfuckers? Now, either one of those situations could be possible when we're talking about Donald Trump. But here's where I get a little joy. These SNAP benefits are going to hit Republicans hard, very fucking hard. And it's going to hit Donald Trump very hard. And if there's something I enjoy more than these fuckheads getting fucked over, is when they get blindsided in the process. I hope Donald Trump doesn't know. I hope he doesn't understand. And I hope the Trump-fucks don't get it. Because when it comes, it's going to be devastating for them. They are going to get blindsided. And I cannot fucking wait.
So the gaslighter-in-chief has responded to the court's rulings on SNAP. Are you ready for this? He says, our government lawyers do not think we have the legal authority to pay SNAP with certain monies we have available. Bullshit. And now 2 courts have issued conflicting opinions on what we can and cannot do. They didn't conflict at all. They literally both said, spend the money. I do not want Americans to go hungry. Bullshit. Just because the radical Democrats refuse to do the right thing and reopen the government. Sorry, just going to interrupt. Republicans have control of the House, the Senate, and the presidency. They can reopen the government all by themselves. They have asked Democrats for 7 votes to pass their continuing resolution, and Democrats have said, we will not give you those 7 votes unless you extend the premium tax credits for the Affordable Care Act so that our healthcare system doesn't collapse. That's what's actually happening here, but let me go back to reading. Therefore, I have instructed our lawyers to ask the court to clarify how we can legally fund SNAP as soon as possible. These rulings could not... I'm going to go find the ruling and read it to you. The only thing that the 2 judges disagreed on was whether SNAP should be partially funded using the $5 or $6 billion contingency fund, or whether it should be fully funded for the month using both the contingency fund and another fund of $23 billion that is also available. There was no other conflict. And in fact, the judge wrote, defendants' suspension of SNAP payments was based on the erroneous conclusion, meaning wrong. In fact, they were lying. They know damn well they were wrong. That the contingency funds could not be used to ensure continuation of SNAP payments. She wrote, this court has now clarified that defendants are required to use those contingency funds as necessary for the SNAP program. What's unclear about that? Then Trump goes on to say, well, we're going to figure it out. And, you know, if we are allowed to spend that money, it would be my honor to do it. But it's all Democrats' fault, and you should call Chuck Schumer and tell him to reopen the government, because once again, he doesn't want to acknowledge that Democrats are holding out for the ACA premium tax credits to be extended, just like Republicans extended the tax cuts for the richest people in the country and the biggest corporations. This is not difficult. It's just that this guy and his administration have just been caught in a huge lie, number 1, and in being cruel, vindictive, awful people, number 2. And now, more gaslighting, more lying, and how long will you fall for it, America? Good God.
While millions of families are panicking about how they'll afford groceries after November 1st, Trump went on Truth Social to say his lawyers aren't sure if they're really allowed to pay out SNAP benefits, even though 2 federal courts just ordered him to. One in Massachusetts and one in Rhode Island both ruled that the administration must use contingency funds to keep SNAP, the food stamps, running during the shutdown. In other words, he's been told to feed people. But instead of acting, he's pretending there's confusion over what's legal while blaming Democrats, of course, for a shutdown. His own team engineered, actually. It's a classic Trump's playbook. Create chaos, like government shutdown, stalled payments. Play the hero. It will be my honor to feed you, okay? Blame the victim. Democrats won't open the government. Rewrite the story. We don't know if we're allowed to feed Americans, right? This isn't confusion. It's control. He's normalizing the idea that feeding people is a favor from him, not a duty of our government. He's dangling basic survival like a reward, for obedience. That's exactly how abusers maintain power.
This is a quick update about the situation that is busy building between the United States and Venezuela. Possible war, but now more countries are getting involved. You might be aware of the fact that President Trump said that he wants to tackle the drug trade, but many people are believing that something more is going on here, that they want actual regime change in Venezuela. With some mainline news agencies reporting that the Trump administration has made the decision to attack military installations within Venezuela and that the strike could happen at any moment. And this, of course, was reported by the Miami Herald. Now, what is very interesting is that the winner of the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize recently just happened, Maria Corina Machado, who is from Venezuela, said that she wants a peaceful transition, but that to some degree she understands if war would change the regime.
Isn't the fact that to achieve the peaceful transition that you describe, you need the US military. You need more of what is happening in the region off the coast of Venezuela, the drones, all of this kind of US military pressure?
Well, I think that history has demonstrated that that's correct. We have gone and done everything that ought to be done. We have been building popular strength and organization, which is also required. We have a legitimate president who was elected by a landslide. We have a united opposition forces. We have everything, and we are ready to take over government. That's very important as well. We have the teams, we have the plans. We need what we are to do the first 100 hours, the first 100 days, and certainly we now need the international community aligned with the United States because this is a transnational conflict and operation. So certainly we need the international community to act and apply law enforcement.
Now, a lot of people are not aware of this, but Maria Machado has declared her intention to relocate Venezuela's embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem if she comes into power. Now, Reuters reported on October the 18th, 2025, that Israel says Venezuela's Machado voices support in a call to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, which indicates that she knows where real power lies and plays to those who make decisions. Now, running parallel to this, the Times of India reported this story entitled, "Supported Israel? Why Nobel Peace Prize winner Maria Corina Machado is facing backlash. Old posts resurface." The article states that her older posts on X supporting Israel's military action in Gaza and urging Argentina and Israel to dismantle the criminal Venezuelan regime is in the headlines again. In one of her posts in 2021, Machado had said that those who defend Western values stand with Israel, which she called a genuine ally of freedom. Now, of course, there are mixed feelings about this. Don't know where you stand on this whole situation, but she is coming under scrutiny for these old posts. So the question is, will we see yet another puppet government placed in power to help extract Venezuelan resources, oil, gas, gold, emeralds, etc.? The list goes on and on.
We have in Venezuela the largest oil reserves, proven oil reserves in the world, the 8th reservoir of natural gas, huge potential in electricity, gold, critical minerals, and so on. This can only be unleashed with a society, with a government that brings order to this chaos, that open markets, that brings rule of law, that is friendly to international investment. And in a country that is producing less than 1 million barrels a day could reach 4, 5, or 6 in a decade.
We've recently seen a spike in the gold price. And why is this? Yes, because central banks are hoarding gold, and regime change might benefit those who want to acquire more gold. Now, while many people agree that the Maduro regime is oppressive, it's corrupt, and supporting the drug cartels, many are asking the question, will a puppet government instituted by force through US military force bring about a better life for the people of the country, the people of Venezuela or the elites? History reveals that countries where the US intervened militarily in the past on grassroots level, in some cases, not all of it, but quite a few cases, the people at the end of the day are not better off. The countries that people are referring to are Iraq, Libya, Afghanistan, Syria, Somalia, and of course, Haiti. I mean, if you look at those countries today, who immigrates to those countries? No one, because it's chaos. It's not stable. There's no prosperity. And in many cases, those countries are just going backwards. Now, Russia came and they warned that they will defend Venezuela's national sovereignty. And what makes things more complicated is that Russia just announced that they do not rule out deploying nuclear weapons to Venezuela and Cuba if the United States do not back off. Russia is stating that the United States is not a friend or a partner, but actually an enemy of Russia. Now, as you might guess, this is a developing story, complex story with a wide range of opinions about what is really happening behind the scenes? Who's the driving force behind this possible coming war, which can be extremely devastating? And for obvious reasons, I cannot discuss it on this platform, whether you are for military action or against it. Bottom line, a lot of lives will be lost. And we don't know where this is going to end, especially if nuclear weapons are involved. It's like we're reliving the Cuban Missile Crisis all over again, but this time even more serious. Please feel free to share your views and your comments. Please keep it respectful and no swearing, or your comment will be automatically deleted.
The in-your-face not giving a shit about the American people that this president represents in any way, shape, or form, that this president's actions in front of everybody's faces, the things he's forcing to happen, tearing down the East Wing, redecorating the Lincoln bedroom, the Lincoln freaking bedroom. He's redecorating. Have you seen the inside of the Taj Mahal? Have you seen his decorations in his penthouses and all his... He's redecorating the Lincoln bedroom. He tore down. That's the people's house, not Trump's palace. But it's all right. He needs to be first. He can't be undone, because the little mustache guy, when he first got elected, he built a 60,000 square foot ballroom. Trump had to outdo him. I wonder if he's going for the numbers of the mustache man. I wonder if that's like a target for him. And if he's counting all the evil things and all the evil ways and all these, alleged of bodies washing up in Spain and incinerators and all this other stuff. All of that. The sheriffs of, say, Portland get the calls from 911 from protesters after multiple people are attacked by either MAGA or ICE agents and knocked unconscious. And the 911 call is routed to the sheriff, who says, "Oh, it's ICE. We can't do anything to help them." They can't even send an ambulance. That's the America Republicans wanted. That's what MAGA voters wanted. You can hate Kamala and Hillary and Obama and Joe all you freaking want. You can paint the demon pictures of the boogeymen on the evil, violent left all you freaking want. Look at this for what it is. Erase all that political bullshit. Reach back there, grab both of your ears, and pull that head right out of that ass. And while you're waiting in line for food, that's not going to have funding because that was canceled too, make sure you wear your red hat and understand this one thing. We are where we are today with no transparency in the government whatsoever, and hundreds of billions of dollars of taxpayer-funded stuff like the backup account for SNAP benefits are forcibly being frozen and literally being held for ransom. He has called states and said, if you release emergency SNAP benefits that was voted on by Congress in the billions of dollars that is there to continue with no interruption, no matter what's going on in the government. That's what it's there for. Trump's people are saying the well is dry, there's none left. The one thing I don't hear anyone talking about is that may very well be true, because he's spending money from one pot to put in the other. He's been doing it since day one. The $500 million from veterans going towards the wall. So let's look at this for what it is. All of this pain that apparently Republicans voted for And the people in Congress and in Senate that aren't showing up for work, that are keeping this government closed, showed up at a Mar-a-Lago Great Gatsby party with their entire family dressed to the roaring 20s, eating from solid gold forks and knives. And the day after 42 million people lose benefits, how in the world can you, A, call yourself an American and be okay with that? And B, not recognizing most of the red states rely heavily on those programs that are paid for by states like California. Knowledge is power. Anger is a weapon used against you. And the uneducated side is that you can't even see it. So stay diligent, stay educated, be kind, because we are all in this together.
Folks, let's talk about J.D. Vance's new chapter, Faith, Family, and Candid Camera Body Language. Recently, at a Turning Point campus event, a student raised a question about faith and family, to which J.D. said, yes, my wife grew up in a Hindu family. We decided to raise our kids Christian. And yes, I hope one day she's moved by the gospel. Which translates roughly as, hey, honey, I love you, but meanwhile about this whole Hindu thing. I'll tell you, nothing says respecting diversity like publicly voicing your deep hope someone opts out of their ancestral religion. JD's so subtle, isn't he? Well, subtle JD seems to be signaling some other ideas about faith and family by getting a little handsy with Charlie Kirk's widow. And she with him. Erica Kirk had the pleasure of introducing JD at the event. The two had an embrace on stage that went way beyond a conference greeting kind of hug. JD had his hands on her waist. She had her hand on the back of his head. It was a moment. Body language this cozy has a message. We belong. We're intimate. We're in. And let's not forget, this is the same guy who built his brand on being a voice for the forgotten hillbilly working class. J.D. Vance offers us a political fantasy of America restored, anchored in Christian dogma, patriotic sentiment, and good old Christian family values. And who better to restore America than a felon, rapist, pedo-friendly monster and a shape-shifting power whore with a soft spot for blonde extensions and leather pants? Well, J.D., I hope you're having the day you deserve.
Yo, in today's episode of As the White Hood Turns, have you seen that viral video going around of that MAGA voter who is mad that her family won't lend her money for groceries because they done cut off her SNAP benefits? Now, I love a good MAGA fuck around and find out. I love it. I love this for them. But what makes this even better is that there are also videos and pictures circulating of the Halloween party that Syphilitic Sid threw last night. It was Great Gatsby themed, and they are now reporting that them tickets were $1 million a pop. Not only did he throw this party for his millionaire and billionaire donors and friends, but he don't give a damn that the people out here wearing the mark of the beast ain't got no food. They ain't got no benefits. I promise you, they woke up this morning to that notification that their SNAP benefits had been suspended. Now this lady out here begging her family, and she went off on her mother-in-law because her mother-in-law refused to lend her money to buy groceries. Her mother-in-law told her, too bad, so sad, you voted for this, figure it out. But this just goes back to, they thought only black and brown people would suffer. All them people saying we need to stop calling them dumb, but I don't know another word. Stupid is too harsh. I don't know another word. If y'all can think of one, I have lots of words I can think of, but the only one that comes to mind is dumb. Just dumb. Okay. Okay, bye.